second. Hello, hello. Okay, there we go. Yeah, sorry, I was just making sure I had the right mic on there, so my voice should be nice and loud. Okay, so this time we're doing that same Reddit text processing, but we're going to do it in Google Sheets instead. The sentiment analysis is a little bit more difficult and I would say lower quality, but this was kind of a question I was asked recently. How can someone do this sort of text pre-processing and sentiment analysis if they have no programming experience whatsoever? So it was a bit of a challenge to myself to see if I could make something work using Google Sheets, and I kind of have. It's a little bit technical, and there are definitely some like Excel formulas that are just absolutely crazy in here. But that's why I tried to make this in a large sort of list of tabs, um, so you can sort of copy this document and work through it. I've got. Let me just share that. Share that in the chat real quick. Apologies. So that link in the chat should take you to this sheet. You won't be able to edit it yourself. But you should be able to make a copy of it, basically. Anyway, so we've got that Reddit data that I showed you before in the other demo. So it's got the URL, post IDs, titles, authors, scores, the time, and what's called the body or the message of each individual Reddit post. We can do some really simple stuff, obviously, in Excel. We can sort by A to Z or Z to A. So we can use that to see the most negative comments. Here we see a lot of the most negative comments have all been deleted. Reddit users are quite particular about losing points on the platform. So this is a good way to stop them just losing a huge amount of points if they say something that's controversial. We can have a little skim through here. We've got gun unsafe. I can see malaria. I can see police comments. I can see all sorts of stuff in here. So these are the negative comments by, I guess, democratic voting on Reddit. And then if I flip the score the other way, we should see the most positive ones. But there, again, when I say most positive, I mean the ones that were most voted on as being good comments by other users on Reddit. So we've got complete contradictory opinions here. We've got politically stable, success story, large lakes. I can see some cocoa bean comments, stuff like that. So yeah, that's just a good way to sort of have a look at what the negative and positive and the sort of popular and unpopular comments are, and just see if that inspires any sort of question that you might have in the research, basically. And I've done a loose outline of how to deal with this kind of data over here. So that was me sorting by scores. Next, I'm actually going to duplicate all this data over to a demo sheet so I can completely mess around with this stuff without losing that raw data that you guys can copy. So now let's have a look for duplicates. So we can look for this in two ways. We can look at the body column that has the message, or we can look at the authors as well. And Google Sheets has an actual data cleanup tab now with cleanup suggestions. So you can say it tries to fix some white space at the end of every Reddit post we have, or some of them. We can see a brief list of statistics in here. So we can see the most common message deleted, removed, black tape, or a comment about Lake Gariba. And so this has potential to be a really common word. These would show up in our word cloud, and that might be a bit disappointing if we have all these big words like jollof rice and cocoa and chocolate and lakes and coasts, and then we just have deleted right in the middle of it. So it's good to sort of suppress things like this. A very lazy way we can do that is just by removing all duplicates, which we can do in this exact same drop down. Where did I find that? Sorry, in data cleanup. And we have an option to remove duplicates from this column. And that's it, 12 duplicates found. And now that delete is just completely missing in there. We can't see it anymore. Similarly, we should look at author. Now, I know that there's an author in Reddit called Auto Moderator that will post the same message over and over again. Here it is, Auto Moderator. It seems to be commenting something. Yeah, so there's like some sort of. Oh, did I forget to unsort that after I deleted them? Yeah, sorry. Oh, I need to delete the rows with duplicates in all of them, maybe? Let me have a look at the bottom there. So if I just remove duplicates from here, data cleanup, remove duplicates. Yeah, so that's just removing it from that one column. So we instead want to, I guess, we remove duplicates from all columns. But the only columns we need to analyze is G. Does that work? Okay, yeah, so that removed them all, which means our auto mod still has its basic text here. So again, we only got 3 posts here, and only one of them has this auto mod comment. But if all 3 did, this would again be one of our most common authors, and every word in this text here would be in every single word cloud we did. So I would just recommend deleting those directly. All right, so that sort of tidied up some of that platform-specific noise we talked about. Next, I'm going to lowercase all the data. So that's our normalization. So words like country and country with a capital C would be reduced to a single word. So let's just say, let's have a lower body over here. And then in here we can write lower, use that function on the body text, and then duplicate that down. So now we have this new one that's just a lowercase of the one to the side of it. Then we want to do sentiment analysis. So I've got, yeah, we've deleted those. So I found this Kaggle page that has a list of positive and negative words. I've already put these and formatted them inside this Excel spreadsheet. So we've got the positive words here, we've got the negative words here, and I've renamed this column up here to be negative word, same in here to be positive word, so we can reference that in other sheets easily. So if we go back to that raw data, what we want to do is count those words in our lower, sorry, in this one. So we want to do is count those words in this lower body column. So let's make a new column called positive, negative, and sentiment. And let's just expand this out so it's a bit easier to read. Oops. There's the merge option. I'm too zoomed in. Right, I'm just word wrapping this so it's a bit easier to see all of the text at once without making us have to look all the way across here. And I'll do the same for lower body. Oops, just clicked the wrong one again. There we go. So now we can sort of read the whole comment at once while also comparing it. I've put a little column in, a little formula in here that we can use, so that will count the number of words from positive words that appear in this column. So I have to change it from that to H2 at the moment. And then I need to drag this all the way down. I think I can just press Control Enter, but we don't have that many comments, so it should be okay. And there we go, that should count our positive words. It'll take a little bit of time to load because that's quite an intense thing to do. Cool, so those look pretty good to me. Then do the same over here, but for negative words, using that negative words variable I've made before. And instead of I2, that needs to be H2 again. enter. No, I'm going to do that. Okay, just have to drag it down. Sometimes it prompts you to just click it down all the way. Okay, so that gives us negative sentiment everywhere as well. Purely as a count, so we can just find, longer messages here will have a larger positive and negative score at the moment. And now we can sort by messages that have the most positive and negative words. Like this, so we can see the most positive word, 23 positive words in this. Again, it's a really long one, but I can see just skimming this. They're talking about food, dishes they love, things they like, and things that make them smile. Same as here, mentions it's fun. People love stuff. Lots of mention of food. I mean, these food comments are all over the place. Lots of friendly folks, friend, favorite. Yeah. So it's a bit strange. And then we can do the same with this one. Don't make me regret it. So these long ones have a large number of positive and negative terms anyway. So I'll just reduce. Oh, there we go. Back to that. Then do the same here for largely negative ones. It's actually the same comment, that hugely positive one, hugely negative one. So it just shows that, the more someone talks, the more likely they are to use one or two, use positive and negative words at the same time. Cool. And then we need some way to calculate that sentiment metric. Again, I've put a little snippet in here that can do that for us. So this will do a little bit of math and normalize that data from 1 to -1. And we probably need to change some of those values. So instead of D and E, that needs to be I, and that one needs to be J. And this one needs to be I as well. Cool. That didn't work. See, so all the D's need to become I. For this one, this one, this one, and all the E's need to become J2. Cool. And there we go. So we've got the beginnings of our sentiment scores here. So we can see some wholly negative ones, some wholly positive ones, but obviously the smaller the pieces of text, the more likely it is it's going to be wholly positive or negative. So again, that's something that we can deal with a better sentiment library. Oh. All right, drag that all the way down, and then we should have a sentiment score for all 800 messages. Then next we can do something interesting with this. So I think frequency word counts are always great, and I think word cloud's great. And we should use this sentiment in some way. So why don't we say, let's use, all of the positive sentiment messages to try and get a frequency count out of. So now I can sort by this field. Those are our most negative ones. So these are our most positive ones. And let's just take everything from 0 to 1, for example. So 0 to 1, maybe not 0 because that's neutral. Yeah, something like this. Let's take these messages down to just above 0. So everything with a positive sentiment. And then I need to do a word frequency count. So doing that in Excel is quite intense. I've actually found a website that really nicely, you can just paste that in, calculate word frequency, and it's done almost instantly. So now we can take that over to this column where I've got a frequency column already. Paste that there. Currently we've got probably thousands of words in there. So that's way too much. So let's reduce that down to just the most common words, maybe everything above, maybe with just more than, let's do more than 5. Let's just do the top 200, okay? So I'll get rid of that. Frequency. So here I've got my top 200 words. Is that right? Should be yeah. Then I can separate by delimiter, like this colon. I've got the information on how to do that here. Data, text to columns, delimited others. So data, text to columns. We have a colon and a space as our delimiter here. Oh, we did? Oh, because I'm doing it on the whole list, and I should just do it on the top. However many. So let's just take those top 200 and apply it to them. Colon space, and there we go. So now we've got our 2 columns here. Those can be described as word and weight. Remove that one, and I really only want these top ones. So I just move those over to this smaller frequency list that I made before. I've got a few beyond that. I can just delete those 2. Okay, and then ideally I'd like to do stop word filtering. Did I do that here? Yeah. So is A2. So these just need to be swapped around, B2 and A2. And that gives us a new list without the stop words. No, it doesn't. What did I do wrong there? I've got my stop words already over here. So I've successfully filtered them here. Did I just swap them around? Word and weight, weight and word. So let's just copy that. Ooh. How big is this? Well, this is the downside of Excel. In Python, this would probably take 1 second, and in Excel, it's just about crashed my page. So I just have to refresh that 1 sec. All right. Well, luckily I've pre-done this anyway, so I've got that version that has the smaller frequencies in it here. Yeah, so I've already done that and filtered those stop words using this column. So downloading here, we'll just download this sheet. I can download it as CSV, and then that can be pasted straight into here. So this is wordclouds.co.uk. I go into words, import from CSV. We just need a column that has those. So what did I just call it when I downloaded it? It's been taking a moment, but again, I've already got this pre-downloaded anyway. So I can do Was it this one? Wordcloud.csv. And there we go. That's got all our words, Ghana, country. Not quite the same as this one, but yeah, that'll do for now. So we can apply it. If anything, it's probably too many words. It looks a bit noisy. Oh, that's my full word list. That's why it looks noisy. Not sure why it's not letting me download this file. Okay, there we go. Multi-post demo word cloud. I'm not going to apply that because that's too many. So from there, multi-post word cloud. Here we go. So that's just got our top 200 words or so minus the stop words. And that gives us a really nice, Ghana colored list of only the positive words there. Can I do anything else? You can draw custom shapes. I think you might be able to do the shape color, but it's a bit, yeah, you can. If you upload a flag here, that work? No, it has to be a particular color, I think. Tricky. Yeah, so you have some disadvantages using this, but this tool is really great for that kind of stuff anyway. So while we've not got a Ghana flag here, we've got something that looks kind of like it, and all sorts of options to explore here anyway. And if you struggled with any parts of that, you can actually just directly edit the word list in here. So if you want to remove certain words or any bugs, like this little hyphen that we didn't remove, you can just delete it in here. You can lowercase the data in here. You can uppercase all the words. You can do all sorts of stuff. So you can really tidy this up to sort of show what you want to show. That's nice. Ghana in the center as well. All right, so that's it. That's the Excel demo. It's a super weird one. Apologies, there's some really tricky formulas in there. But yeah, I hope that's what you're looking for. All right, bye-bye.